So I was actually able to get an IT job with no degree. I didn't really have any prior experience. I just studied a little bit, did some home labs, and I was actually able to land the job. And I kind of want to talk to that experience a little bit. So before I got the job, I was actually working in the Air Force, and it wasn't a bad gig, but I kind of got tired of the crazy schedules that they would tend to have if you're working like Panamas or even like over 12 hours. It was just kind of chaotic, but I wanted something different, and I've always had a love for computers, especially building like gaming PCs and things like that. I also wanted a consistent 9 to 5, if you could believe it. I know most people don't like that, but when I was in, that was like a dream thing to have a 9 to 5 schedule. So that's kind of when I decided that I kind of want to take up and do an IT job. Now, I kind of took some college while I was in. I didn't really finish all the way. I didn't get any sort of degree. So when I decided to leave the Air Force and pursue an IT career, that was like my biggest fear, is that I didn't have a degree at all and that most jobs would like kind of turn me down. But that wasn't the case at all. I actually was able to get a couple interviews and learn like a few different things. I think one of the main fears on the interview side was that they were gonna ask me some hard hitting questions, like off the rip IT questions that I probably wouldn't know off the bat, but to be honest, it wasn't really like that at all. Now, like most of the interviews I've had, almost all of them actually, ended up asking me just more personal questions rather than any IT questions. Again, they kind of just want to get to know you as a person, what your personality is and what your interests are, and if that kind of aligns with what they got going on. So my first actual IT job was an IT help desk specialist. I was making 22 an hour, and it didn't really feel like a dead end, more of like a foundation to the start of my career. I ended up asking my boss what made him want to hire me, and he gave me like 3 things that he sought most after. One of the 3 things that I had was my willingness to learn, which was super big because on the job, there's gonna be so much that could happen. And if you're not willing to go and research the problem, well, this career field's not really gonna be that good for you anyway. The second thing was that my interest in doing home lab. So not only did it help like show that my willingness to learn, but also it showed that I was actively at home gaining experience on my own time, on my free time for fun. And that was a big plus for him. And lastly, he said that the biggest thing was personality. Now, we work with a lot of end users, and if you have a crappy personality or at least a crappy attitude with dealing with customers or other end users that worked in the company, it's gonna be a bad time for you and probably not a career field that you would want to go into anyway. And on top of that, you're gonna be working with another team as well, and they don't want to work with somebody that, you know, kind of sucks. So the other tip that he gave me as well was that the resume that I had put in wasn't very grandiose. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, this person is it. It was very simple and to the point, where it had all the information that you needed. It wasn't too much. I didn't really put much in there that was necessary. I had a lot of work experience within the Air Force, but I didn't put most of that in if it didn't really apply to what I was applying for. So basically, your resume should make someone want to talk to you, not overwhelm them. So what strategies did I bring into the interview? I think being honest was one of my main factors. I didn't want to go in feeling like I had to lie or prepare to lies or something like that. It felt so much easier and just so much better if I was just honest and straight up about everything, with including my skills, my work experience, just things of that nature. One of the other things was talking confidently about the things that I did know. Those are the main things that I harped on. I would also say that the last thing was like researching the job beforehand, not just what they have as like the skills or requirements, but also the company itself, because the more that you know about the company, it kind of shows a little bit of interest, and it could actually help shape any other questions that you actually have for the interviewer themselves. Now, I will say that before the interview, I had a lot of terrible mindsets, that I wasn't smart enough or I needed to know everything, kind of like that imposter syndrome. But I will tell you, it's honestly a terrible mindset to have, especially going into the IT field. The IT field is always constantly changing, and there's always gonna be new things to learn. So you're gonna have to be willing to adapt, especially in whatever direction that the company you're working for is going. So one big advice I'd give you is that IT isn't about knowing everything. It's just about, are you willing to figure it out? I got asked this question, not online, but by like some people. If I had like 90 days to prepare to get into the IT field without any prior knowledge or experience, what should I do and what should I focus on? I'd say the one main thing is that if you don't have any educational experience, go ahead and get the CompTIA the A+ certification. Go ahead and study for it, get that certification. It's an industry standard certification, and it shows that you have the knowledge and the little bit of experience that you need to break into just do a regular entry-level help desk job. On top of that, I'll also learn some of the Linux basics and the command line as well. You'd be surprised of how many companies are using Linux servers and Linux computers. So just getting a basic understanding of how that stuff works helps a long way, trust me. And one of the last things I say you should do is probably just build a home lab. There's plenty of people online that have like different guides and certain stuff. I would say find someone that you kind of mesh well with and can understand well. One of the biggest ones for me was Network Chuck. I followed a lot of his videos and stuff like that to learn how to build up different servers or learn the command line or learn different tools like Docker and stuff like that. So just find something that you're interested on there and then just go for it and start building. And here's also one not so fun but very important skill that I would also learn in those 90 days is technical documentation. It may be super boring to write everything down. It was a struggle for me because I'm the type of person that when I'm solving problems or doing something, I'm like go, 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 and I kind of forget to sit down and actually write out everything that I've done in that process. But once you do, it's actually a super powerful tool and it really helps the team as well, especially if you're not going to be in the office certain days or maybe you take vacation and one of the other team members has a very similar issue. It really helps them solve that faster rather than for them to go and do the whole research process as well. So a good thing to remember is just that good documentation turns one fix into a permanent solution. Any of the bad advice that I've seen, like when I was first starting out, was like, oh, only just get certs, lie on your resume, or skip the help desk job itself entirely and do something else. I would say that certs are actually really good, but there's a bunch of certs out there, and you kind of just want to focus on the ones that are actually industry standard certifications. It doesn't hurt to like get some that are outside of that. It's fine. That's like good personal growth and learning. But if you want something that is more career focused, you want to go ahead and get those industry standard ones, as those would help on your resume a lot better than it is to get random ones that most people don't know. And of course, lying on your resume is probably the worst thing you could do, because there's going to be some interviewers that want to talk to you about what's on your resume because that's all they have at the moment to ask questions from. So if there's something that you're lying about and they ask you to talk to it, it's going to be really hard to come up with a lie on the spot than it is if you're just telling the truth, because then you can talk to things that you do know instead of things that you don't know. And lastly, like skipping the help desk job, I don't really recommend. You can if you want to, if you already know exactly what you want to do, but I'd say skipping that would have been detrimental for me, because if I went into something like, oh, I really want to do cybersecurity and focused on that, got a cybersecurity job, and then realized, oh man, I hate this, I've been in a real pickle. So getting a help desk job is something that I highly would recommend you doing, because once you're in there, there's going to be a ton for you to learn, and you can find what you like and what you don't like about this career field. And if you don't like it altogether, then you can go and learn something else and you're not really hindering yourself. And I think lastly, I just want to talk about some mistakes I kind of made early on, especially like before getting the job and then while in the job. One of the things was trying to learn everything at once, and that's such a big detrimental thing to do. I was jumping around learning from security fundamentals to cloud basics to this, that, the third, and I was just jumping between topic to topic, and it didn't really help me at all as I wasn't really focusing on the fundamentals. So it kind of for a little bit derailed my progression and professional growth. So that was my experience. I mean, I've gotten a lot of questions from other people asking about this, so this is kind of why I decided I wanted to make the video in the first place. But if this has helped you in any way, let me know. If you want me to talk more about it, again, let me know in the comments. But yeah, thanks guys for listening and giving me the time of day. Peace.